Good evening and welcome to the 5 Live Bears podcast, minus a bear. We're a bear down tonight. Charlie is unfortunately working.
I didn't even know it.
John didn't even know it. He didn't read Bear Chat because he was down in Butler County or something this week, and his internet doesn't work or something.
Well, I was in we were in Bowling Green this week.
Sound the Bowling Green alarm.
I don't have it yet. I haven't built it yet.
You were caught in that Amish buggy traffic jam.
Oh man, that was good. That was hilarious because it was fun. They were
trying to pass another buggy.
That's terrible.
We went over to look at the other side of the farm, and we went over across this hill, and here comes the buggy the other way. But the funny thing about it is you can be 8 and drive a buggy because they were both like 8 or 9 years old, and they
didn't know what they were doing.
I couldn't take a picture of their faces because it would steal their soul or something. So I was. Are you all right?
I fell asleep listening to you talk about Amish buggies.
I had to start my own podcast about Amish buggies.
This one here's a classic. She's
in case
classically
you fell
built.
asleep, welcome back to the 5 Live Bears podcast.
Oh my goodness.
Charlie's working. The rest of us are here. Aaron is in Texas as always. It's been a shaky start this evening with lots of
it's been crazy.
Technical issues, but we're here.
John made fun of Reba. It was over after that.
I didn't make fun of Reba. I was talking about how much I
talked about how
her.
much he liked her ears.
Her ears were her. Yeah, they
seemed to be in.
I mean, but
yeah,
you don't
a bad gesturing way.
Yeah, you. What?
What are you talking about?
Anyways, welcome to the show, John. How are you this week?
I'm doing good. It's been a good week, I guess. Nothing much has happened yet. We're still waiting for school to restart. So I've been in the middle of this. Has been my first prep week, trying to get things prepped and ready for the next year. So it's been interesting. Got some new curriculum. I'm trying to get prepped. And
do you dress preppy all week while you do prep week?
No, I was sitting down here this morning doing some what they call curriculum mapping. And just wearing the standard T-shirt and jogging shorts and listening to the radio
up for the podcast.
Yeah, I do dress up for the podcast.
I was doing curriculum mapping in my tuxedo this morning.
It'd be awesome.
Well, because all my T-shirts hit me right at my belly button now, and I got to get a whole new set. So
you got to get with wardrobe on your outfits you need. Okay.
All right, Brian.
Later,
Brian, how are you this week?
I'm doing great. Tim, I'm doing
That's
fantastic.
It? Nothing amazing in your life?
Well, no, I've been mourning that Charlie wasn't going to be here, so couch life isn't really happening tonight. So
all about that couch life.
How's Casa Sue Pate?
It's coming along. We had floor laid this week, so we're getting closer. We're getting closer. Our goal is to move in by school.
Casa Soup
or something like that. I don't know. It sounded good.
House your pates?
Something.
House your pates.
House your pate.
We like Casa de la.
Oop! I've had Aaron turned down. I'm sorry.
Oh, hey, Aaron, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, Aaron, how are you?
There's Aaron.
I'm doing pretty good.
Anything exciting in your neck of the woods of Texas?
I finally found the last 2 Transformers I've been looking everywhere for all year, so that was exciting.
I got excited.
Cried.
I thought they were the originals at first.
No.
Oh, yeah.
I thought they were original
Saucers.
Almost said Dino-Bites.
Dino-Bites are good.
Dino-Bites are something you featured.
No, Dino-Bites are like the kids' chicken tenders that are shaped like dinosaurs. Like from Burger King.
Oh my gosh, what are they called? The Dinobots. The Dinobots. Yeah, that's.
I didn't know you were still trying to think of it.
I was trying to think of it. It's been a long week.
So you found those 2 final Dinobots, Aaron, huh?
Yeah, I think they're Sludge and Snarl. They keep changing their names because of copyright issues, so I could never keep up with what their names are now. So.
What were they?
I think it was like Spike and I can't remember now. Like I said, they keep changing them. So
super.
Like Swoop was Strafe for a while.
Oh, wow, Aaron's going full Transformer on us. Yeah, there we go. Full Aaron. Early in the podcast. As for myself, I am on the eve of going to my first ever NASCAR race.
That's awesome. Do you hope you see Ricky Bobby? Are you going to yell out randomly, "Help me, Tom Cruise! Help me!
It's Tim's NASCAR news."
And to top it off, we're looking at the hottest day of the year tomorrow.
Oh, it's going to be awesome.
It's supposed to be like 98 degrees with a heat index of 105.
Oh, you're going to love it.
We're supposed to be at Brittany's dad's house at 8 a.m. to go an hour and a half.
going to be like a 3-hour drive.
Yeah.
for a race that starts at 6 p.m.
That traffic is going to be terrible, dude.
Oh my gosh,
So
you're gonna have the worst day of your life.
It's a good thing the wife doesn't listen to the podcast.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh,
Couple-
it's going to be miserable.
A couple of years ago, just we were coming back from Gatlinburg, and we got to about right there across the Tennessee line, right there at I think it's like Jellicoe or something. Can't remember. It was right before it was before you get to Corbin, and we hit this traffic, and it was like 55 or 60 miles an hour the rest of the way. Almost all the way to Lexington. We're like, what in the world is going on? Because it would stop and go, stop and go. Come to find out, it was the Firecracker 400 up there at Sparta. Like,
But
my gosh,
we're
I
not
am
going to be stuck in
never-
the traffic. No, we're getting there early. They're going to park.
They've already been there.
Yeah, they've been there.
the real fans have already been there.
They go there like every year. This is my first year.
Oh,
What we'll do, they'll
wow.
multiple cars, multiple canopies. The beautiful brothers have both bought Arctic igloo fans or something. I don't know. It's insane. We'll get there. They'll grill out. We'll walk around. We'll sit back there. I'm probably going to go to sleep, not in the sun. And we'll literally be there all day till the race starts. Then we'll go sit for the 2.5 hour, 3 hour race.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Maybe
we'll
we'll-
come back and we'll sit and grill out again while we wait for the traffic to leave. And we'll get home at about 2 a.m.
I do have to tell you,
sounds-
I feel a little jealous right now, too.
Are you?
I do feel jealous, yes.
I mean, if you
I don't.
shaved your beard,
I could pass as you think?
do you think you could pass as me?
don't
You
know.
can't be as bold as you are. You have to be
Oh.
more of a pushover.
I got to like turn it down a little bit.
You got to be like, okay.
Be like, I want the grilled chicken. And
No,
then
you
like,
can't.
oh no. Oh, we're having hot dogs? That's fine. Thank you.
Can I have cheese? Can I have no cheese
Can
on my
just-
burger, please?
You'll get cheese and you'll like it.
That hot. Me and
Anyways.
you could never be Tim's like
Right.
doppelganger. There's just no
Yeah.
way.
We feel so
Anyways,
close at times, though.
so that's my my weekend. It's too bad that we record 2 in one night, or else I could give a full recap next week. But you'll have to wait for
you'll
2
be like,
weeks.
These cars just drove in a circle for
I
two
mean,
and a
this
half
car
hours.
just kept going.
Kept making right turns.
The crazy thing is like, so we're sitting front row, and it's like a 1.5 mile track.
Oh my!
So we're only going to see like a quarter of the race,
if that.
if that.
Oh.
They're going to be like, boom, 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 boom.
And then you're like,
And we're
hey,
going
we're
to
gonna wait.
We're going to wait 40 seconds. Oh,
Well,
here
see,
they go,
that's-
here they go, here they go. Boom, 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 boom.
That's where you invest in some of those.
Oh, we are,
those
John. We
headphones.
are. We're invested in the headphones where we can turn to any pit crew or anything. I think we even got ones with video this time or something.
It's like a little screen comes out in front of your face.
heads up menu.
Oh.
You know what it really is? It's really just virtual reality. There's
Well,
no race.
I'm
You
gonna
put the
I wish.
headset on. You
I'm
just
gonna
see it.
watch it tomorrow
I'm
night
going to melt.
and see if there's at some point about lap
man.
about lap 82 where Tim decides to put himself out of misery. He climbs the fence and
You
runs
can't
out
do that.
there.
They've got all kinds of restrictions now.
There's
That's
a
what I'm saying. You can go full Ricky Bobby.
Where there's a
You're there.
will,
I need,
there's a
I need to
way.
wear like a bright pink shirt or something and just be like on the fence, like, look at me the whole time.
Just
Anyways,
start yelling.
that's what we're talking about tonight. NASCAR. Welcome. No, we're not.
This is our full NASCAR race.
No, we're
Tim's-
done with NASCAR
Oh,
talk.
are we? I'm sorry.
Oh.
Anyways,
I don't know
Okay.
if I'm more
Uh,
jealous about the race or the grilling out of the food.
It's probably the food for me because I couldn't care less about the race.
dude, we're gonna be there for like 10 hours.
I live
before
on-
the race.
I live on
That's
Dixie
some good
Highway.
eatings right there.
I
though,
live on
too.
Dixie Highway. I don't have to watch a NASCAR race.
That's true. We have enough train wrecks out
I
front.
just I just drive to the Frisch's.
Yes.
I'm just hoping to score bonus points with the misses. That's all this is.
Now, how many NASCAR races has she been to?
She's only been to she's been to other ones. I know she's been to this one like 3 times, and I think she went to another one in another state at some point before we met.
Wow.
See, that's some true dedication if you're going to go the ones out of town.
Yeah.
That's when it becomes.
I want to go to like the Daytona because that's where everybody wrecks. That's all I care about.
Talladega,
Yeah,
3
like,
wide.
The Kentucky one, they don't
Talladega
wreck
Nights,
at all.
boys.
It's like a pretty boring.
We're like a bunch of cowards. On
It's
the
like
Kentucky
somebody
one.
gets the lead and then they lead the whole race. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, this is gonna be
Till their
fun.
pit crew screws up
Anyways,
the tire
this
change and then it
all-
moves by.
This week we all went and saw Ant-Man and Wasp,
Big
and we
applause.
all pretty much liked it. As far as I know, even John's Ant-Man bias
Yeah, he
was held in check.
Was this a Wasp origin story? No, it wasn't.
No, it was not. It was
There
not.
was no origins to be found.
Well, except for
What?
Ghost.
Except for Ghost, but it wasn't too bad. So John was hyped, but we all saw it. Charlie saw it first. He saw it opening night, sent us all a message and said he loved it, enjoyed it, and then John. Next thing you know, John chimed in, said he saw it, liked it. Then Aaron chimed in, and then so Brian and I we went and caught it Monday night with free movie pass. John,
yeah, no
free movie pass. Anyway, so let's get right into it. John, tell me your initial thoughts on Ant-Man.
Gotta give our spoiler warning.
Oh yeah, hold on.
Spoiler alert!
I forgot.
We are going to be talking about everything that happened in Ant-Man and the Wasp. So please, if you haven't seen it and you don't want to be spoiled, this is your chance to go back and listen to the NASCAR talk.
That would be awesome.
We're going to get a 47-person bump this week just because we have NASCAR. And the
Hashtag.
Let me put a hashtag NASCAR.
Hashtag drive it like you stole it.
There we go.
Hashtag if
All
you're
right,
first, you're last.
John, so let's start with you. Out of all of us here, you saw it first. Give me just your initial thoughts. How did you feel about it?
In light of and I know Charlie thinks differently, and I think the three of us were kind of on the same page with Black Panther. And I don't want to say disappointment, but with the kind of the, I guess, letdown of what Black Panther was, and then the just extreme emotional trauma of Infinity War. This one comes off as really kind of a breath of fresh air, I guess you would say, as far as like these movies go. It was a romp. I mean, that was the best way you could put it. It was a simple romp movie. It was not extremely complicated. It wasn't complicated in its scope. It wasn't complicated in its. It didn't try to weave too complicated a storyline through the movie. It didn't convolute things. It was pretty straightforward. It stuck with the originals, kind of that ideal of a. It felt like a 1970s heist movie. The way it was filmed, the car chases and things of that nature all felt real 1970-ish as far as like those type of old romp gangster type movies from that era. Where I enjoyed the fact that you had a movie that didn't technically have a bad guy in it. The biggest bad guy in it was the businessman throughout it.
Sonny Birch.
It had some, and he had some good parts in it. I mean, him throughout the movie, it was really good.
Him as an actor.
I like the way they kind of streamed his story through the story of Ghost. I thought the Ghost character is really good. I hope to see that character again at some point in the future of Marvel. Whatever we do in Phase 4, I'd like to see that again with her powers, because her powers were really cool. Just had the ability to control
those
her
fight
powers.
scenes were great.
Oh yeah,
they were really good fight scenes.
And overall, I mean, the three compatriots, his buddies come back, and it was a blast. Of course, Tim had said this, I think, earlier when we were discussing before we actually went and saw that he hoped that he had another story scene in it. Pena scene. And they pulled that off with amazing. It was a very cool part of the movie, the way they did that. The kind of poking fun of it when he was like, I get to the point, he's like, no, you pay when you put your dime in, you get the whole story.
Yeah. Oh, you mean where's Scott at physically? I thought you were talking about emotionally.
Yeah. And that type of stuff. And
that was good. And
just the chemistry of all the characters play very well together. You wouldn't think that Michael Douglas and Paul Rudd would be able to interconnect themselves that way, but they do, and it's very
they play
good.
Off each other very well.
Yeah, I was very pleased with it. I was very excited about it. Susie, who is kind of my barometer of these type of movies,
the Susie,
absolutely enjoyed it. She went back and saw it again yesterday with a friend of hers, a friend, one of her school friends. They went out and they went and saw it again yesterday, so she really likes it. The scene at the end, the first post-credit scene, was absolutely it was so creepy the way they did it.
They did it,
and
they
it
did
was
a
just
great job tying in the
because Susie
War.
was watching that, and she was sitting right beside me, and they go, he jumps into the quantum realm.
Saw it coming though.
You felt it coming, but I didn't know how they were going to do it.
I didn't think they were going to do all three of them.
And all of a sudden, when they pan back out and they're all gone, you see the ash. Susie goes, oh, and she's like, I wasn't expecting that.
No, Nice.
And that's what got her in the movie. She said, I liked the movie, but I loved it after that end scene because it tied it into.
Tied it in there perfectly.
Tied it really in and really good. And then the last end of credit scene was kind of a throwaway.
Right.
That was my favorite part of the whole movie. It was so creepy and unsettling, and the aunt's just sitting there playing the drums like nothing's going on.
Well, and that's the part of it that was so unsettling to me is because, they pan in, and it was just like in a realistic disaster. They had the emergency
TV,
broadcast was blaring the emergency broadcast signal, and then it's just, the ant's kind of in his own little world.
Yeah.
And overall, they had that incredible. The movie was such a lift, and it was so much fun and so much humor in it.
And they just pulled the rug
and
out.
Then and then at the very end, it's just poof.
Yeah.
And but overall, it was a very good movie.
Good, Aaron, you saw it next. Let's hear your thoughts.
Really fun movie. Really enjoyed it. Really liked the cast. I thought that Michelle Pfeiffer was great in it. I was not expecting her to be that good as Janet, and she really knocked it out of the park. I really liked Michael Douglas again as Hank Pym. I think they got the anger right on that character because he has a temper, and I really want to see a movie with Michael Douglas and Michelle Pfeiffer. Set 20 years earlier, just de-age them and let them have an adventure. I'd really like to see that.
Could you imagine Michael Douglas? He's a little old now.
They did that with what's his face in the beginning of Guardians, Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell.
I mean, they did in this movie too. I mean, at the beginning, they were de-aged. And
talking about the de-aging thing, though, there for just a second,
getting better at
it's getting so good. I mean, we were talking about Carlos, like, well, the Michael Douglas one looked really good, and the Lawrence Fishburne one looked. I mean, that looked just like him from like back in the 80s. She said, but I think the Michelle Pfeiffer one still needed a little bit of work. They do. Some of them are really good. Some of them are really bad.
Cat claws came out on Carla there. Joking. Don't kill me, Carla.
You made a Catwoman joke.
Then I also I really liked Jimmy Woo's character.
Oh, I love Jimmy Woo.
I'm a youth pastor.
I hope they're setting up his movie.
Yeah, Agents of Atlas.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that's what they're doing because he's a great character.
Scott, can you show me how you did that? I'm a youth pastor.
He
was great.
The continuous underlying theme of the magic tricks was pretty funny.
Yes, yeah.
I like that, especially
he walks
in his office and he's working on them. I thought that was really cool.
Don't you knock? That's good. Yeah. Any other? Go ahead, Aaron.
And I liked the car chase and all the Hot Wheel jokes and all that. I really enjoyed all that.
My favorite scene in any of the chases is where he's using the truck as the scooter. He's running the street, and the guy pulls a gun on him. He reaches over and he goes, doink, and knocks it out of his hand. It was just, it was full of those little moments, though, that really made, because he's one of them characters that the way he portrays Scott Lang in these movies is he loves what he's doing, but he doesn't really take it incredibly serious.
The whole
he's just
time.
kind of like, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
And Go ahead, Aaron.
And I like I was going to say, I like the where the birds were eating all the ants.
Oh, that was great. Trying to call the ants, and the birds were just like. Vroom.
And I was very surprised we didn't get a fight between Scott Lang and Lawrence Fishburne, both giant size. But the movie didn't quite go in that direction. But
we might get
very
that.
Surprised.
I'm kind of glad it didn't, though.
Right.
I mean,
I am too.
My thing about that was because I was kind of anticipating that as well, that something was going to happen along those lines because it was, we had the foreshadowing of him talking about being Goliath.
Right.
But I'm glad they stuck away, or they kind of slid away from having to have a solid super antagonist within the movie. Somebody who's actually bad. I like the fact that that the whole thing was set up because Lawrence Fishburne's character was trying to help Ghost,
right? I mean,
get out of this situation.
In reality, the villain of the movie is saving Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah,
I mean, and Ghost also being saved in the process. So your storyline actually acted, or your plot actually acted as the villain, which was really well done.
Well, both these movies kind of have it seems to me, y'all might think differently, but it kind of has an underlying theme of Hank Pym's sins of the past, almost this haunting, because in the first one it was okay, I made these particles and now Cross wants them to make the Yellow Jacket, And in this one, it was okay. It was because of what we were doing here that caused her to become this.
Right.
And it all goes back to his past and these kind of reckless science thing that he was doing throughout. And I mean, maybe you all feel different about that, but that just kind of seems to be an underlying thing.
I haven't really thought about that, but both movies do relate back to that. Brian, what were your thoughts on the movie?
So I mean, kind of echoing what you guys have said so far. I mean, I definitely thought it was a fun movie. It was definitely more lighthearted than Infinity War. Paul Rudd was fantastic. I loved the Wasp. I mean, I thought her character was great. I would like to have seen a little bit more. I don't necessarily say fight scenes with her. I mean, we had the one good one there when she took down all the guards.
Yeah.
But, I just thought her character was so well done, and the two of them interacted so well together. Her and Scott Lang. I really liked it. Kurt Douglas again. I mean, just when we saw the first Ant-Man, I was like, how is Hank Pym going to come across? Wasn't sure about it, but I really like his character. But I think the wharf scene when he goes like 65 feet or whatever, and he's like all of a sudden getting sleepy, and then he just like falls like a giant well in the water or whatever. I like that.
Or like it's gonna breach.
Yeah. But I love the school scene.
I was getting ready to bring that up.
Right, and he's like, how was your day, bud? You want some yogurt, some string cheese or something, or juice box? And
comes out of the room, and the teacher's like, hey, where's your hall pass?
Yeah, he just keeps running
off.
I thought that was great. I just thought it was a great movie. And then of course the ending of him being in that quantum realm and not impacted by the Infinity Gauntlet.
Right.
So of course it's like, so obviously he's in a different, I guess, dimension. So that's why he's not affected by it. But
well, they asked the directors of Infinity War, and they said no, he was just one of the people spared by Thanos. It had nothing to do with him being in the realm.
Okay.
So,
going back to the school scene, the thing about it that I liked is the comedic timing of that, because he gets back in the van and he sits there and he was like, and they're making fun of him, and Kirk Douglas or Pym says, would you like a juice box and some string cheese? And then there's this silence, and all of a sudden he goes, do you have some?
Yeah.
And that's and it was those type of, I guess, one-liners that really made it feel different, because there was a solid lack of humor in Infinity War.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it had its small moments, but this was such a wow, this was a good movie. That you shouldn't pass it up.
And by the way, guys, Michael Douglas, not Kirk Douglas.
Kirk Douglas. That would be amazing.
Talk about de-aging.
Michael Douglas. Yeah, we're thank you for bringing that up.
No problem.
They would have to do some real de-aging.
They would have. I loved it. I was a big fan of Ant-Man, the first one. I thought it was really fun. I thought this movie never really had like a lull in it. It was just fun or action or well-developed plot the whole time. So the movie went by quick. It wasn't like you were just like looking at your clock waiting for this to end or anything like that. Like I did maybe with another movie, Black Panther or something like that. It was just a fun movie from go. When it starts off with him and his daughter in the box maze that they made, and they're doing all the fake stuff, and it was just really fun. They tied in Civil War really easily and didn't like make it this long convoluted thing. They just instantly, you did this, you made this deal, and it wasn't like they had to make it a big plot device. It was just, let's explain it and be done with it and go on with it. And so they did really well with that. But I thought the whole movie was fun. I thought the chemistry was great. Evangeline Lilly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'm not always blown away by her acting and stuff. As I watched all of Lost, she was in there. I thought she was great in this one, and I thought they played off each other. All three of them played off each other so well. Right. Her chemistry with Michael Douglas from the father-daughter relationship and their desire to get the mom back, and her chemistry with Scott or Paul Rudd in that she was angry at him, but at the same time she wanted to be with him as a partner or working with him, and how he talks about basically she makes that comment, if I was with you, you wouldn't have got caught.